A hard loss for the Toronto Raptors, who had their first home court defeat since April, losing by 5 points to Golden State. Joining us to recap the game is TSN's Leo Routens. Leo, great to talk to you this morning. Sadly, we're talking about something no one in this country wants to. It took the Raptors nearly 6 minutes to score in the third quarter. What happened?
Well, good morning, Ben. Yeah, I mean, it's, the Raptors had a bit of a drought, unfortunately, and certainly can play much better than we saw them play. And, the big thing is I'm not worried about it right now. Obviously, you want to try to get every game you can, but here's the most important thing, I think, for fans to remember. You're playing the NBA champions. You're playing a team that's been to the finals now for the 5th straight time. They weren't just going to walk out and get beat. This is a team that's going to fight for every single game. And as you know, in the series, you go through these ups and downs and you make your adjustments. And I think the Raptors have a lot of positives to take into the next game and just have to clean up some of the things that went sideways.
A big name was present for Game 2. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was, for me anyway, it was tremendous to see Barack Obama and the fans in the arena responded tremendously. And I think it's kind of a statement of what's happening politically. I mean, here's a man with decency and integrity and compassion, empathy, all these great words that represent what the president should be. And I think with everything that's going on in the political environment today, that it was just refreshing. And I think so many people were just thrilled to see him attend a Raptors game.
Thrilled, yes, Leo, but I do want to point out when there was no President Obama in the stands in Game 1, the Raptors won. When President Obama was in the stands for Game 2, we lost. So maybe he watches from home next time. Just a suggestion.
Well, I don't think he's going to be hanging out in Toronto watching too many Raptors games. I think we're okay either way.
Lastly, Leo, the Raptors are headed to California for Games 3 and 4. How much is that beginning of the third quarter going to be the focus of how they prepare for these next 2 games?
Well, listen, for Golden State, their third quarters have been huge throughout the playoffs. They're a team that just dominates that portion of the game. But if you're the Toronto Raptors, you got to concern yourself with 4 quarters. You can't have a letdown. I think if you go back to Game 1, the Raptors played about as well as you can play in a first-game matchup all 4 quarters, and that has to be the focus. Mentally, if you have one letdown, one slip against a team as good as Golden State, as the Raptors saw, things can go sideways quickly. So very important to just lock in for 48 minutes.
But you're optimistic going into Game 3.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's a lot of positives to take. I think the Raptors can play much, much better. And despite all that, they had an opportunity to win the game. So you have to be optimistic. You have to like where this team is. And now it's up to you to go to Golden State and try to steal a game. And then if you win one of the 2 games, you get home court back.
That's how I feel as well. Leo Routens, thank you so much for your insight this morning. We appreciate it.
Hey, always a pleasure, Ben. Thank you.
All right, you can watch Game 3 Wednesday night on TSN at 9 p.m. Eastern.